Motorola E7 Power has been recently launched in Nepal within a month of its global release. This phone is like a little brother to last year's Motorola E7 Plus. I have been using this phone for about a week now, and today I'll be giving you my opinions about it to help you come to your buying decision. So let's get started. The plastic body and frame of Motorola E7 Power is complemented by its curved edges and round corners, making it comfortable on hand. The 9.2mm thickness isn't that noticeable, and the phone feels a little heavy on hand despite being just 200 grams. Though the texture on the back is plain and simple with single color design, it is water repellent as well as fingerprint proof. A transparent soft plastic case is provided in the box, but you'll need to buy a screen protector as it doesn't come with one. One can easily notice the signature Motorola logo on the rear physical fingerprint scanner that lies alongside the pill-shaped camera bump. The bump doesn't cause any wobble on a flat surface. One unique thing in this phone is the placement of the speaker grills, which lies on the rear side's bottom left. It causes the sound to be obstructed when you place the phone on your bed. Motorola shouldn't have gone with such design. Next up, we have dual hybrid SIM slot on the left, power, volume and Google Assistant button on the right, headphone jack up top, and finally the USB Type-C port and microphone hole on the bottom. The texture on the power and assistant button is different. Overall, the built-in design of this phone is good for its price, but I wish they used a better pattern on the rear instead of making it plain. This phone is powered by MediaTek Helio G25, which is a gaming-focused chipset based on 12nm. This chipset is more than enough for a phone of this price range, as it is also used on popular devices like Redmi 9A. For reference, I was able to run PUBG Mobile with balanced graphics and medium frame rate settings with sudden frame drops here and there. There were no heating issues. The only variant of this phone launched in Nepal is the 2GB RAM and 32GB ROM variant. Despite the RAM management being pretty good here as compared to other smartphones with similar RAM size, it does bottleneck the multitasking capability at times. Also, due to 12GB being taken by the system, only 20GB space is remaining, which isn't enough for apps in 2021. I highly recommend using the expandable storage option of up to 1TB via SD card. Here comes the favorite part of this device for me. It is none other than the stock-like Android 10 experience this phone provides. There aren't many customization options here, as even the assistant button cannot be remapped. There is a performance optimization option which lets you allow apps to run in the background. These are the gestures that this phone can do. The phone has dual rear camera setup, which include a 30MP f2.0 main with face detection autofocus, 2MP f2.4 macro and an LED flash. 5MP f2.2 selfie sensor lies on the water drop notch up front. The daylight pictures from the main 13MP sensor have decent details, colors, contrast and brightness, but turning on HDR makes a huge difference. HDR exposes the darker areas better, meanwhile improving color accuracy and balancing the highlights. Since there is no depth sensor here, portraits are captured via software. Thus, portrait mode has a huge difference when compared to normal snaps, as you can clearly notice it on the texture details and exposure control. The age detection is just okay. Moving on to daylight selfies, turning on HDR helps eliminate blown out background and improve skin tone. There is beauty mode option, but I prefer not to use it. Selfie portraits have blown out background with decent ease detection and slight smoothing of skin. All in all, the quality is acceptable for social medias. On to videos now. Both the front and rear cameras shoot up to 1080p at 30fps. Since it's an entry-level smartphone, there is no stabilization, and this is how shaky the video comes out even if you are carefully shooting it. After my testing, I can confirm that this phone has a decent camera for its price, and it isn't something to be amazed about. Though I still wish this phone had night mode and slow motion option like other entry-level smartphones. In terms of connectivity, this phone has single band 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0, GPS and FM radio. The sensors include accelerometer and proximity with the absence of gyro. The rear physical fingerprint sensor has a slight delay compared to the ones in higher priced phones. The rear firing single loudspeaker has enough loudness and crispy clear sound quality. There is also the option of 3.5mm headphone jack to use. Finally, the massive 5000 mAh non-removable battery easily lasts for nearly 2 days of normal usage. The supported charging speed of 10 watts took me slightly above 2 hours to fully charge the phone from 0 to 100. All in all, the phone has an impressive battery life for this price. In conclusion, I think this phone is a great contender in the entry-level segment in Nepal, not only due to its good cameras but also its overall features. Let me know what you think about this phone in the comment section down below. I wish you good health during this COVID crisis and everything. I will be signing out for now. Bye bye.